Well, for more on that story, we can now cross to correspondent Jasper Mortimer, who's in Ankara. Jasper, thanks for joining us. Can you tell me a bit more about the significance of this trial, specifically the fact it's being conducted in Ankara?
Yes, well, I actually was here that night. I had a very limited view of what was going on. I was in a hotel across the road from the presidential palace, but that was frightening enough. There were bullets flying around, there were fighter bombers firing jets and breaking the sound barrier over our heads. Ankara is important for two reasons overall. 250 people were killed that night. 140 of them were killed here in Ankara. More blood was shed here than in Istanbul. Secondly, this is where the chief of the general staff, Hulusi Akar, who is now the Minister of Defense, was kidnapped. He heard that something untoward was going on at an airbase north of Ankara. He flew to the airbase in a helicopter and said, what's going on here? And they held him against his will. He was only released after the coup failed. Of the people sentenced to multiple life imprisonment a couple of hours ago, foremost among them is General Akin Öztürk, who was commander of the Air Force, and he was allegedly the master plotter of the coup attempt. Secondly, Ankara was where one of the pilots flying around that night got the coordinates to attack a certain place. And he said to the air traffic control tower, listen, these coordinates are for the city center. And the control tower said, go ahead. And he fired his missiles. Two of them hit the Parliament building. One of them landed in the garden of the Parliament. Nobody was killed, fortunately.
And going back to these trials, in your opinion, what's the feeling in Turkey? What do people think of these coup attempt trials that have been taking place?
Well, everybody thinks there must be retribution for the coup makers. After killing 250 people, they must face justice. Secondly, people think Turkey has to put a stop to coup attempts and coups. However, that said, among liberal Turks in particular, there is great weariness with the way the coup attempt has been exploited for political reasons. The government has renamed the main metro station in Ankara the 15th of July. The government has been using the coup attempt for its own political purposes. Secondly, the full story has not been revealed. Yes, Gulenists were involved, but some of the people who supported the coup, according to European intelligence, were not Gulenists. They were secular opponents of Erdogan, or they were opportunistic generals who thought that if they put their commander in jail, then they could get promoted. But the full story hasn't come out. When Parliament was looking into what happened that night, the opposition wanted to question the Chief of General Staff, the person who was kidnapped, and the government refused permission, so he never gave his side of the story. We don't know the full story.
Thank you very much for that context. Jasper Mortimer reporting from Ankara.